This is a video about Stephen Hillenburg, an American author who is most well known for his creation of SpongeBob SquarePants. In honor of his passion for animation, this will be in a format that resembles a cartoon. So without further ado,
are you ready, kids?
Stephen Hillenburg was born on August 21st, 1961 at Fort Sill in Lawton, Oklahoma, and was raised in Anaheim, California. With multiple beaches not too far from his home, he became interested in the ocean and its creatures, as well as in the arts and drawing. These interests lasted from his childhood throughout the rest of his life, as is evident by his college degrees and career choices. To put Hillenburg's birth into historical context, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was president at the time, and then just a brief 2 years later Kennedy was assassinated, and then 7 years after his birth, Nixon became the President of the United States. The Civil Rights Movement and the Cold War were also both going very strong during the early years of his life. When the early 1980s rolled around, it was time for Hillenburg to go to college. So he decided to go to the Humboldt State University in California, and he graduated with a bachelor's degree in 1984. And his degree was in Natural Resource Planning and Interpretation with an emphasis on marine resources. Then after receiving his bachelor's degree, he went on to teach marine biology at the Orange County Marine Institute in Dana Point, California, which is now known as the Ocean Institute. While he was teaching there, he wrote The Intertidal Zone, which is an informative comic book about tide pool animals, and he used it to teach his students. Then in 1992, he furthered his education by earning a Master of Fine Arts degree from the California Institute of Arts, and these degrees acted as the perfect launching points for the creation of the work he is most well known for, SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants was not the first show that Hillenburg wrote. From 1993 to 1996, he was a writer and a director for Rocko's Modern Life. During his years with the show, he worked closely with the show's creator, and he got his foot into the door of the animation world. Before working on Rocko's Modern Life, Hillenburg planned on being a starving artist. However, he and the show were successful enough that he was able to live comfortably and even pay back loans. It wasn't until 1994 that Hillenburg began developing the characters and the concepts that would become SpongeBob SquarePants. He got the idea to create his own show when one of his fellow writers from Rocko's Modern Life read his informational comic, The Intertidal Zone, and told him that he should create his own show. Hillenburg used his comic as a launching point for ideas about his future show. One of the characters in the comic, Bob the Sponge, was adapted and eventually became the well-known SpongeBob. The first episode aired in July of 1999, and since then, Hillenburg and his team have written over 250 episodes and 2 movies. As of 2002, about 1/3 of the people who watched SpongeBob SquarePants were between the ages of 18 and 49. This surprised Hillenburg because he never would have guessed that his cartoon about a sponge would interest anyone other than kids. As of 2015, SpongeBob SquarePants generated $12 billion in revenue. SpongeBob has had such a great influence on its audience that there are currently many memes involving the characters and referencing episodes from many years ago. Now on to his personal life. In 1998, he married the woman of his dreams, and her name is Karen, and she is a chef who teaches cooking in Culver City, California. And also in 1998, they had their only child, Clay. And Hillenburg used to play music with his son, he on the guitar and his son on the drums, and he said that it was a great bonding experience. And most people who knew him would describe him as the funniest guy they knew and a perfectionist workaholic. He was also known as Steve by his friends. And then in 2017, he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is also known as ALS. He continued to work on SpongeBob SquarePants for as long as he was able after his diagnosis. But then to wrap up his journey on Earth, Hillenburg died because of his ALS on November 26, 2018. And although he may be gone, his works will remain on earth for generations to enjoy.